Hi Taurus, how are you? Welcome to your December reading. Thanks so much for being here. Very excited to be back in the States visiting my mother. I'm standing in my grandfather's old hobby shop office, so that's why I've got all the planes and everything behind me. Excited to be back for the holidays, but let's go ahead and get started with your astrology highlights for the month. Okay, we've got Sagittarius losing Saturn, all right? As per Western astrology, it is moving into Capricorn at the end of the month. We've been talking about this and talking about this. It's kind of a big deal. For you, this is happening in your house of higher self and higher education, all right? So for those of you going back to university or affiliating with religious groups or associating with people of a higher mind, all right? This is a great time for you to become wiser, all right? Now, be careful, there's a caveat here because it can also lend itself to closed-mindedness, and we don't want to see you closing your mind at a time when your mind could be blown wide open, right? And your horizons could be stretched to the nth degree, all right? So this is powerful, but you need to be sure that you are as open and giving with other people's value systems and other people's beliefs as you want them to be with yours. So it's kind of a give and take here. It's a long transit, so it's going to be a process and it's going to be a little bit of a learning experience for you, but it's going to be like clockwork, right? Saturn loves being in this part of the sky for you, so it's good, it's exciting. Other couple things happening in the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius kind of has like the highlight this month. Not only is it their solar return, but they've got a lot of stuff. We've got a Mercury retrograde happening in your 8th house. So if you are thinking of investing, if you are thinking of, reaching out, getting your taxes prepped, you can expect some miscommunications. I recommend waiting until next month, until January, till this transit is over, because once Mercury starts moving back direct, I think things will get ironed out. So if there are any issues with taking out a mortgage or taking out a loan, or you have kind of a pretty intense reading. I just did your reading too. So if you have anything going on just internally as well, give yourself a break, wait until next month, and I think a lot of those issues will get ironed out. Sagittarius is also receiving Venus this month and inviting that in. So Venus is about values, it's about beauty, it's about other people, about other partners, things like that. So I believe that you will have this optimism and this excitement. Even though you have some heaviness going on, you will have some excitement and some bubbliness happening in your life as well. So it's not all so serious, okay? So have a good month. Thank you so much for being here. I wanted to introduce too, which I will at the beginning of the reading, a new deck that I've designed from my experiences in Bali, if my camera will focus. Doesn't matter. Whatever, you'll see it in the reading. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next month. Hello Taurus, how are you? Welcome to your December 2017 reading. Thanks so much for being here. I'm introducing my new deck. I call it the Bali edition. Just pictures that I took when I was living over in Bali earlier this year. It's not for sale. It's just a one-of-a-kind type of thing. But let's go ahead and begin. I've already been shuffling, so I'm about ready. And the Six of Swords coming out first. It's about movement, change, and transition, spiritual and mental growth. Maybe not physical. Six of Swords is a very peaceful card, okay? It's very quiet, and it kind of occurs and happens behind the scenes. It's something that we can't stop or prevent. It just is, it's those times when our perspective just changes. It just becomes different. And, I don't know what this is specifically in reference to, but this is certainly a journey that we go on alone. It's a journey that we must embark upon in order for our life circumstances to be different. Now, as we go through a Six of Swords phase, people can either come or go, it's kind of irrelevant, right? Because there is a lot of focus on oneself, not in a selfish way, but in a way that you realize, or you come to an intrinsic understanding that this life is about acquiring wisdom, and you become more wise. You know, there's reflection and there is understanding of past failures, of past successes and victories. You know, those things come with you no matter where you go. And I think that you are in a major transitory phase, not, you know, the Saturn transition, yes, but I think there are many things that play into that. And Taurus, you know, because you are such a, oh, what am I talking about? Now we get the Death card. Okay, well, transition, transformation, metamorphosis, becoming someone and something completely different. Make sure they're all in the frame. Okay. You know, power. This is powerful. You know, death is not something to be brushed aside. Death is represented by the planet Pluto, okay, because it's the card of Scorpio, and also Mars. Now Pluto is a planet of power. In mythology, Pluto and Hades, ruler of the underworld, you know, and I'm trying to think. I don't know where you're transitioning from, and I don't know where you're transitioning to, but the process itself is potent in this particular time. Taurus being such a card of stability and like stick-to-itiveness, and it's just like, you know, Taurus is notorious. Taurus is notorious for being stable and stubborn, right? But that doesn't mean that you're stagnant. That doesn't mean that you are always the same, right? That's absolutely false. And anyone operating under that idea is grossly mistaken, because here you are in a huge phase of movement. Let's see what else comes out here. Wow, you just have cards just dying to come out. And a Queen of Pentacles. Now I believe that this is you. She's been popping out a lot, the Queen of Pentacles. I think a lot of us are really tapped because we've got that transition into Capricorn, and this is the card of Capricorn, you know, and you know, Saturn moving into Capricorn, a fellow Earth sign, right? It's a trine position to yours. It's a positive aspect. So I think that you're really going to draw on a lot of the positivity of this Saturn transit. And, you know, you will feel like things start working well again, you know? She is about progress. You know, Queen of Pentacles, the Capricorn, the mountain goat, always climbing to the top. You being Taurus, always climbing to the top, always accomplishing a job, always getting things done. You know, there's elements of you. Oh, God, I don't know why your reading is actually coming out quite choppy for me. I feel like I should start over. I'm not going to. But there must be something to that. Normally when I'm doing readings and I'm totally in the zone, and yet I still feel like I can't formulate the words, there's something there. And I'm wondering if a lot of you just don't know where you're going. You're just totally stuck. But you are, like the bull that you are, just charging into this transformation, but the focus is so much on the transformation itself that the goals that want or need to be accomplished afterwards are a little bit fuzzy or a little bit hazy. This can speak in relationships, this can speak in just personal goals that you have for yourself, career, financial, or otherwise. And the Queen of Pentacles, she needs a goal. She needs a point. She needs a place to go. And so here she is just like barreling into this death card. And, oh, Seven of Swords. The Scarecrow, right? Some element of deception here, or there's some element of your thoughts and your fears and your doubts really getting in your way. I'm wondering if there's not fear of what's on the other side, fear of what's on that horizon there, fear of where you're going. I think that's a little premature, right? Maybe there's fear of not wow, this is like really powerful stuff that I'm going through right now, which tells me that you're going through it tenfold, you know? Don't forget, okay, I can't finish that sentence, and I'm sorry about that, but don't forget that there's always life with death. That the cycle is just that. It's a cycle. There is no end point with a cycle. There is no true beginning. There is no true end point. It is constant evolution. So there's no need for fear or doubts. There's no need to psych yourself out. There's no need to be confused. And the Five of Swords. You cannot fight the forces of life. You know, you cannot fight, I put authorities on this card, right? I put the police because you just can't fight the system of the universe. And I'm wondering if there is some resistance, or you're striving to resist, but yet the resistance is, again, illusionary. It's not real. You are moving forward ahead nonetheless. Like, you can try to tread water and stay in the same place as much as you want, but the current is not going to let you stay there, right? It's going to take you where it needs you to go. So as much as you would like to remain where you are, and I feel like I'm wondering if some of you have identified with this transformation process. You've identified with that, and somehow you may seem to be clinging to that in some weird way. And I apologize if I'm contradicting myself. That's the nature of a reading. Sometimes I do, right? And Five of Swords, like I said, that's a battle you can't win. You can't fight Pluto and Hades. You know, when they come for you, it comes for you. And that's not like talking about the underworld, you know what I mean? It's just the power of the gods in mythology. What are you fighting? You have two cards of difficulties with the mind. Swords representing mentality. And there's back and forth. Oh, you know what's interesting? Actually, the numbers 5, 6, and 7 represent the fixed qualities of the elements, right? So the fixed signs, earth, fire, air, water. You are the fixed earth. So you're kind of in that realm where you truly belong. and yet there is, because it's the swords and not the earth cards, you're just very much out of your element. You're operating more like an Aquarian, being swords, the fixed air sign, than you are a Taurus, which is completely foreign and completely different from you. And so there does seem to be some mental struggles going on. Be careful that you aren't recklessly moving forward. Okay? Be careful that you aren't convincing yourself that you're moving forward when in actuality you are clinging to the transformation process itself and not wanting to let this go. Because this is telling me that that it's shifting, you are moving, but the directionality here concerns me a little bit. But let's see what else comes out. Let's see where this is going. Oh, see? And the Hanged Man. And we have a little flower floating in water. And what did I just say? You know, kind of sitting in the ocean, trying to tread water and trying to fight the current, but you cannot. You are at the mercy, you are at the will of the universe. There's no need to fight. Okay, you will end up exactly where you're supposed to be. Hanged Man is a card of Pisces, and it is represented by the planet Neptune. There's a lot of ocean and water, right? Scorpio, Six of Swords with the water elements, and then the Hanged Man being ruled by Neptune and card of Pisces. And I explained this in a couple of my privates recently. And Poseidon, god of the ocean, who's an equal to Pluto, you try to control the ocean. You cannot. You like I said, the only way that you can survive the forces of the ocean is to completely surrender, completely let go. Now, for a fixed sign, that's very difficult, but even more so difficult for a fixed sign who is operating in an element that is different from their own, operating in an air quality versus an earth quality. Okay? But yet it is still a requirement. You don't really have a choice whether you fight it or not. It's irrelevant. It's pushing you forward. You might as well just let go. You don't have as much control as you think. The Hanged Man can also represent a love that must be let go. If some of you are hanging on to a love or hanging on to a relationship or the idea of a relationship, even more specifically, this is saying it's time to start forgetting. Not forgetting, but it's time to start caring. So stop caring so much. Okay? And the Moon, another card of Pisces. It's illusionary. It's a card of, I always call it the big question mark of the tarot. Where am I? Where am I going? Where am I supposed to go? And here this Queen of Pentacles just dying to understand where she needs to go. Look, that time will come when you know. The time will come when you have an end point in mind. But for now, with the like back and forth that's going on in your mind, you can't make a decision that way. There must be a sense of being sure. And there's too many question marks happening here. There's too much transition, too much movement for you to be sure. So don't try to be sure. Look, the pathway is lit, albeit dimly lit, but it is lit nonetheless. And you can see where you're supposed to go enough. You can see well enough the path. Even if it's just 1 or 2 steps in front of you, that's all you need, because that's all the universe is going to give you right now. Okay? So just allow things to be what they are without trying to change it. 5 of Swords, you can't change it. You can't change that person you're dealing with. You can't change the state of your relationship. The universe is officially stripping you away of your power. Okay? And I know that that's like a really weird thing for me to say, but every person goes through moments of this, and I say it every month. Like sometimes I tell you there's stuff you need to do, you need to act, you need to do, and then other times I'm like, no, just relax, don't put any effort in right now, you just gotta let things unfold. And it goes in ebbs and flows like that. Always has, and it always will. It's the nature of rhythm. The rhythm of the stars, the rhythm of the universe. When Saturn gets to Capricorn, then you'll be like, okay, I'm good. I know what's up. This is all temporary. And the Nine of Swords. Yeah, Nine of Swords. Not knowing, right? The not knowing is killing you. The lack of direction is killing you. Some of you may be feeling paralyzed. You feel paralyzed, but you're not. Six of Swords. It's happening. It's moving. Don't beat yourself up. There's no need. Don't beat yourself up. Don't stress. You can't change another person. They can't change you. Just let it be. Okay? I see a great deal of stress, a great deal of tension, a great deal of like, I just wish that I could get on top of this thing and control this thing. You'll kill yourself trying. And tomorrow, it's not going to be the same as it was today. A week from now, it's going to be even more different than it would be tomorrow. Okay, so and Temperance, beautiful. Temperance, the card of moderation. I think this is a beautiful time for you to find alignment, what you feel you want or your desire, and your intuition, and telling you what's really meant for you, or really where you're truly headed, and come to this place of truth within your life. Temperance is objective. Truth is truth. Sometimes we experience a Five of Swords and a Seven of Swords when we are fighting truth and we are resisting the direction, right? So, and it's hard to be truly objective, of course. We all have our biases and we all have our desires and our wants. But I think ultimately, when we let go, that's when truth becomes louder. I think the truth is very, very quiet for you right now. But it will become louder and it will become more apparent without question over time. Now, I'm going to pull just a few more cards just to sort of sum up the reading, Taurus, okay? And Two of Wands. It's a blank slate for you. It's why I chose like a totally calm ocean, right? And it's kind of as though you're looking through a window, or looking through a pathway and seeing nothing, right? Like the world can be shaped. And now is a good time for you to really get in contact with what it is you want your world to really be, you know, because even though you are at the mercy of the forces of the universe, which are so much more powerful than you, it doesn't mean that you can't still come in contact with intentions and still set intentions. And these are broad scale, high level, you know, life goal type of things. And I think that's what the universe wants you to do right now. Like I said, you're only operating one step or two steps. You can only see just a few steps in front of you. So you might not know the exact path of how you'll get there. But at least if you have that end goal, it will become illuminated eventually, right? Wow, Taurus, I don't even know. And Ten of Swords. I chose this for Ten of Swords because when I saw it, I was like, I heard that music. I don't even know if this is from a play or from something, you know, a famous opera or something, but it's like that that like music, you know, kind of like a creepy, what is that? It's like a witch sound, like from a Disney movie or something like that. Ten of Swords, it's you've worn all the masks. You've thought everything you can think, you've said everything you can say, and you're done. It's done. Like, hang the masks up on the wall and just sit back and enjoy the ride, because there's nothing you can do. 9 and 10 of swords, 5 of swords, 7 of swords, 6 of swords. No wonder I'm having a difficult time with this reading, because you're all over the place. There's no sense of serenity. Even though you're in a beautiful place, you don't feel it. You are identifying with the transformation itself. And that's fine. You know, we're all entitled to that because of how powerful that is. But when you begin identifying with the pain and the suffering that comes with death, then it becomes stagnant. And you can remain in that place for a very long time. But let the changes wash over you, and the stress that you're dealing with, because, oh my God, you guys, like, for reals, the stress of what you're dealing with will disappear and dissolve. See, Pisces, 2 cards of Pisces, Neptune, it's about dissolving. These swords will dissolve if you let them. Let it go. And I know that sounds so trivial and so condescending, but please, I don't mean it that way. I think you know that that's what needs to happen. You know, I think you know. And look, Ace of Cups. Can it be a more beautiful way to finish off such a difficult reading than the promise of new love or a new sense of emotional fulfillment? Ace of Cups. I chose a waterfall because sometimes that's how it feels. This overwhelming wave of goodness and good things. And you deserve it. Oh my goodness, do you ever deserve it? I didn't know you all were dealing with all this stuff. Taurus can be very secretive. You know, earth signs, they can be very withholding with what they're going through, and be very practical about the intensity. But you can't hide this kind of stuff from a tarot card reader, because look, here it is. So the blessings are imminent. They're inevitable. The universe will provide once you surrender. Okay? My goodness, Taurus. But good luck, all right? I will see you next month. I'm hoping that with that Saturn transit, you will feel positive effects, all right? And that this will all kind of work itself out. So I wish you guys nothing but the best this month. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you soon.